Dear students, welcome to the lecture series on the topic Engineering Graphics. Today we are going to discuss about the projections of the lines. I am Dr. IPS Ahuja, Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Punjabi University, Patiala. So here we are required to evaluate the orthographic projections of a line which happens to be perpendicular to the horizontal plane and parallel to the vertical plane. Now, since this line happens to be parallel to the vertical plane, so the front view projections of this line will reveal the true length of the line onto the vertical plane. And since this line is perpendicular to the horizontal plane, so the top view projections of this line will be converging and coinciding with each other, and we will be able to obtain the point view projections of this line onto the horizontal plane. And this line, it will also be parallel to the profile plane. So the profile view projections, that is the left hand side view projections of this particular line, will also be revealing the true length projections of the line onto the left hand side view projections. Now let us read out the statement of this problem. So there are 2 points, that is G and H, corresponding to this line GH, and these points G and H, they are lying 20 millimeter in front of the vertical plane. So since these points G and H, they are lying 20 millimeter in front of the vertical plane, so this distance will be drawn below the XY reference line in the top view projections. And both the points, they are lying in the first quadrant. Therefore, the front view projections will be drawn above the XY reference line, and the top view projections of both the points G and H, they will be drawn below the XY reference line. And another information we have been provided with, it is that the distances of the points G and H from the horizontal plane, they happen to be 5 millimeter and 40 millimeter respectively. That is the front view corresponding to the point G, that is G dash, will be available 5 millimeter above the XY reference line, and the front view corresponding to the point H, it will be available with us 40 millimeter above the XY reference line. And finally, we have been provided with this information that the distance between the end projectors of the points G and H measured parallel to the XY reference line, it is 0 millimeter. That is, points G and H in the top view, they will be coinciding with each other, and similarly points G dash and H dash projections in the front view, they will also be coinciding with each other along the same vertical projection line, so that we are going to get the point view projections of this line in the top view, whereas in the front view along the same vertical line, the projectors G dash and H dash will be lying above the XY reference line. So with this information, we are required to draw the front view projections, the top view projections, and the left hand side view projections of this line GH on the common reference lines XY and X1, Y1. And we will also be connecting the respective views on the object line, that is G dash and H dash will be connected, G and H in the top view will be connected, and G double dash and H double dash in the left hand side view projections onto the profile plane will also be connected. Now let us proceed with the construction of the orthographic projections of this particular line GH. So this is the vertical plane, this is the horizontal plane, and this is the profile plane. So since we are required to draw the left hand side view construction or the projections of this line GH, so the left hand side view projections will be drawn on right hand side of the front view projection. So front view projections will be drawn on the vertical plane over here. The top view projections will be drawn on horizontal plane over here, and the left hand side projections will be drawn on right hand side of the front view projections over here into this domain. So here we have drawn XY reference line and X1, Y1 reference line. So in order to transfer the distances from the vertical plane, so we have to draw a transfer line over here at an angle of 45 degree with respect to the XY reference line. So this way, by using the transfer line, we will be able to convert the distances from the vertical plane into the profile view distances over there. That is, the distances in the top view, they can be transferred into the profile view using this transfer line which has been drawn at an angle of 45 degree. So we know that the points G and H, they are lying 20 millimeter in front of the vertical plane. So the top view corresponding to the points G and H, they will be located onto the horizontal construction line or the locus line over here, which is located 20 millimeter in front of the vertical plane or below the XY reference line. And another information we have got, that the distance between the projections of the points G and H measured parallel to the reference line XY, it happens to be 0 millimeter. So since points G and H, that is small g and small h, they are located 20 millimeter below the vertical plane, and the distances between their projectors which are measured parallel to the reference line happens to be 0. So in the top view, we are able to obtain the point view projection of this line corresponding to the points G and H over here. So small g and small h points have been located in the top view projections 20 millimeter below the XY reference line. So having drawn the coordinate locations of the top view corresponding to the points G and H below the XY reference line onto the horizontal plane, so we know that wherever point G is located, so onto this vertical projector line, so projection corresponding to G point, that is G dash in the front view, will be located. Similarly, where point H has been located, onto the same vertical projector line over here, the front view projection corresponding to the point H, that is H dash, will also be located. So we know that both of these points, they lie in the first quadrant. So the front views, they will be drawn above the XY reference line, and the top view we have drawn below the XY reference line. And we also know that the distances of the points G and H from the horizontal plane, they happen to be 5 millimeter and 40 millimeter respectively. So it means that point G, it is located 5 millimeter above the XY reference line or above the horizontal plane. So point G dash will be located in the front view 5 millimeter above the XY reference line. So we can see G dash has been located 5 millimeter above the XY reference line or above the horizontal plane. Similarly, point H, it has got the distance of 40 millimeter above the horizontal plane. So onto the same vertical projector line above the point H dash will be located. Now we can mark the distance of 40 millimeter corresponding to the front view of the point H from the XY reference line. That is, this point H, it is located 40 millimeter above the horizontal plane in the front view projections. So H dash point will be located onto the same vertical projection line as point G dash was located over here. So into this vertical projector line, we have identified points G dash and H dash corresponding to the line GH in the front view projections onto the vertical plane. Now, once we have joined these 2 points G dash and H dash, so we can mark that this distance, it is the true length of the line GH as represented in the front view projections G dash H dash over here. So the front view true length projections have been obtained onto the vertical plane. The point view, top view projections, they have been obtained onto the horizontal plane. Now we are required to obtain the left hand side view projections of this line onto the profile plane. So as per the projection theory, the left hand side projections of the object or the line, they will be drawn on right hand side of the front view. So this is the front view projection that we have obtained. Now we have to draw two horizontal lines or the projection lines emerging from points G dash and H dash into the profile plane in order to be able to locate the positions of the point G double dash and H double dash. And we know that point G double dash will be located into the profile plane alongside this horizontal construction or the projection line. Point H double dash will be located into the profile view alongside this particular horizontal construction line which we have drawn through the point H dash. Now we need to transfer this distance of the top view corresponding to the projections G and H, which is 20 millimeter in front of the vertical plane. So through these 2 points G and H, which have converged into the top view projections as a point view, we are going to draw a horizontal projector line and extend it up to the transfer line. And once we extend it up to the transfer line, so 2 points corresponding to G and H, they will be obtained onto the transfer line. And the moment we take the vertical projector from this point over here, and this vertical projector will be extended into the profile view projection where it will be intersecting with the horizontal projection locus lines which are emerging from the points G dash and H dash over here. So wherever this vertical projector line, it intersects with the horizontal projector line emerging from G dash, we are going to obtain the location of the point G double dash into the profile view projection. Similarly, wherever this vertical projector line, it intersects with the horizontal projection line which is emerging from the point H dash in the front view, so point H double dash will be located in the profile view projection. So having obtained points G double dash and H double dash in the profile view projections, so we can join G double dash with H double dash projections over here. And now we will find that this left hand side view projection of the line GH, which is represented as G double dash H double dash in the left hand side view projections, it gives the true length of the line in the left hand side view, since this line happened to be parallel to the profile plane as well as the vertical plane. So this way we have been able to obtain the front view true length projections of the line GH, the left hand side view true length projections of the line GH, that is G double dash H double dash, and the point view projections GH corresponding to the line GH below the XY reference line, right? So front view projections, they have been obtained above the XY reference line, that is G dash H dash. The top view projections, they have been obtained below the XY reference line, and the left hand side view projections, they have been obtained on the right hand side of the front view projections over here. So this way we have been able to obtain the orthographic projections of this line. So this is all for today. So I hope that through this discussion you would have understood about the mechanism to evaluate the orthographic projections of a line which happens to be parallel to the vertical plane and perpendicular to the horizontal plane. We will be continuing with further discussion on few more illustrative cases of projections of the lines in the coming lectures. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot.